Okay, good morning, good afternoon, class. So okay, so we're gonna do two tasks today. One is the first one will be a speaking test. It's not a test; it's a speaking task. But because we cannot have any speaking evaluation going on, so what I can do is that I will just discuss through the topic, and you guys just understand this topic. We're gonna see some new phrases, some new vocabulary to describe that particular speaking task. And then the second task that we're going to do today is a grammar task, which is actually very easy because it's just past simple and past continuous, which I believe that you have already done since you were in primary school, as well as in Form 1 and Form 2. So right now, without wasting time, let's go into our first task. Before that, I would need you to prepare your textbook, okay, and then take out an exercise book. Okay, although I've said before, don't go first. Although I've said before that you don't need to prepare an exercise book. Yes, you don't need to prepare because I'm only teaching this class for 3 weeks. Okay, however, the teacher coming in later will roughly know who has been in the class and who have not been in the class. Yeah, so the previous exercise book that you have with Madam Vivian, can actually take it out. I don't know how many exercise books do you have. Just use the one with writing one, with essay and anything. If you don't know, just select either one because I will not do a lot of writing. I think the next writing will be just an essay. I think that's all. The rest will be on Google Classroom and Google Form. So what I want you to do right now is take out your textbook, take out the previous exercise book, any of it also can. Don't ask me again later. Any one of your exercise book that you have used before with Madam Vivian, just take it out for you to jot the notes. Actually, not really notes, like the whole thing. Okay, you can pause the video. I count until 5 while you go and get your textbook and the exercise book that you have used with Madam Vivian before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so today what I want you to do is I'm not going to upload the thing, but however, okay, so at first I thought of wanting to print this out for you, but later after me typing it out, I feel like it's not that long. Okay, so because very little tasks I need today, so what I want you to do right now is please copy the whole thing. Okay, I just opened the first part first. Yeah, you can pause the video. Yeah, for this first part you can pause the video. For this first part, sorry, okay, you can pause the video and copy everything. I count until 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the next part, this one. Okay, you can pause the video as well and I'll count until 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I believe that you have already written down a teacher, a paramedic, an athlete, and a receptionist. All of these, why you need to write it down, because later in my lesson, today there will not be any Google Classroom assignment or there will not be any Google Form assignment. So as a proof that you have attended my class, okay, this one that you have just copied, this one, you need to take pictures of these 2 pages and then post it in your group. If you are in 4G, then post it in 4G. If you are in 4A, please post it in 4A. Okay, what you need to do is, like my previous class, let me show you an example. Okay, so what they do is they usually, okay, take the pictures, the notes that I asked you to write, them to write, and they have to write their name, so that I know who is who. Or else I don't know who are you, right? Most of you don't even use your real name on your WhatsApp. So after you finish copying and finish the lesson, snap the pictures of the 2 pages, okay, post it into your group in 4A, and then after you post, you write down your name. Understand in our class? Or else I don't know who have attended, who have not attended the class. Clear on this? Okay. So the next thing is, let's officially enter the lesson. Okay, so open to your textbook page 26. Okay, the below part, yesterday we have already completed the upper part, the vocabulary exercise, right? So right now we have to complete the speaking task below in page 26. So there are 4 different occupations. Okay, I assume by now you know what's the meaning of occupations. OCCUPATION. Okay, any notes that you want to add on later, because sometimes I will add on notes, you can write down yourself, yeah? Occupations are what? Occupations are pekerjaan, 你的工作. But here it didn't use the word occupation. Okay, let's look at the speaking task. It say, talk in groups. Look at the pictures. What characteristics? What is the meaning of characteristics? Ciri, 特征. Okay, you have to know all of these words. These are all very commonly found words, yeah? Ciri, 特征. Do you need to have for these professions? Just now, the word that I taught you, the word that I used just now was occupations, whereas now they didn't use the word occupation, they use professions. What is the meaning of professions? Profession means also same with occupations, but the difference between occupation and professions is occupation can be anything, can be teacher, can be policeman, can be even garbage collector. There's no wrong in being a garbage collector, don't get me wrong. I definitely respect people who do their jobs properly one. Even if they're just sweeping the floor, even if they're just collecting the rubbish, even if they're just a normal teacher, if they do their job properly, okay, their jobs, I definitely respect and salute these people. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is the difference between occupations and professions is that the word profe here means, okay, let me just take it out. Let's use the whiteboard. Okay, so just now I say occupation means pekerjaan. So what garbage collector, teacher, policeman, all can be this one. Whereas when you say professions, is it single F or double F or single F, double S? Professions come from also the meaning also pekerjaan 工作 but it must be professional 的，一定是专业的，mesti professional punya. For example, garbage collector, they are not professional. Teachers, policemen, doctors, what else? Directors, secretaries, these are all professional jobs. But like for example, if you are a waiter, if you are a waitress, if you are a garbage collector, if you are a cashier, those are not professions. Okay, so you have to understand there's a slight difference in the meaning. Okay, let's continue here. What you can use some of the phrases in the box and some of the personality adjectives, activities. So these are some of the words they can use to describe all of these people, yeah? All of these people, okay? So I'm just going to go through very fast. So today we're going to talk about 4 types of professions. The first one, a teacher, which is not very foreign for you guys. A paramedic. What is the meaning of paramedic? Those people who drive the ambulance, and then before, whenever emergency case happen, the doctor cannot be at the accident or the crime scene or whatever, right? Usually those with the ambulance inside, they are called paramedics. They help to give first emergency help first, stabilize the patients, then only they send to the hospital. So these people have medical background. They know about things. The next one, an athlete. What is the meaning of athlete? Athlete is athlete 咯，就是那个运动员. And the last one, receptionist. What is the meaning of receptionist? In a big company usually, okay, when you want to enter the company, there's always a person who answers the phone that will direct you to the director or direct you to the manager, all of that. That is called a receptionist. Okay, it is slightly lower rank than a normal secretary. Your receptionist is always in the beginning of a company when you go in, when the person is in front with a phone, and she doesn't do much of a very complicated work. She only answer phones and do simple works. That's what we call receptionist. 柜台接电话的那些人, orang yang sambut telefon di柜台 counter pertanyaan. That's called receptionist, yeah. Okay, so let's look at some of the words. some of the phrases or adjectives. Perform well under pressure. What is the meaning of perform well? 它可以很 Okay, never mind. These are all the words that we are going to use later. I'm not going to repeat later. Later, I'm going to just say it so I don't have to repeat twice. I just want to look here. So, just in case this is a pair task, speaking pair task, which means you have to speak with your another partner, with one of your friends. These are some of the words that you can use in the beginning of the your conversation. You can say to become a teacher, you must blah 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 blah. Okay, you can use the word you, because here maybe your friend say, I don't know what to be. Maybe the speaking task is like this. I don't know what kind of profession I need to do. Do you have any suggestions? So when you talk to your friend, you have to use you. Okay? You can also use this generally in every speaking task because it's a pair task. You talk with your friend. So when you're talking with your friend, you don't say he. You're talking about to you. Correct? Unless the situation calls for another thing. Unless the situation calls for another thing, for you are talking about two of you are talking about another person. That's where you use a third party pronoun like he, she, or they, and we. Okay? Or else, this one, if you're just advising your friend of the professions, you can just use the subject you. Okay? Then, of course, you don't always say you. If she doesn't want to be, you can also use people. Okay, because this is a general thing. Okay, ini topik yang sangat 这个是一个很表面的一个 topic， 你不是叫他做，你可以讲大致上人会怎么样，人家做这个的话他会怎么样，orang nak buat kerja ni dia bekerja, dia punya pekerjaan ini apa dia akan buat. So we can use the word people who want to become a teacher. In my opinion, pada pendapat saya, this is one of the most easiest way to use. You say when your friend asks you and then you reply back. In my opinion, pada pendapat saya, okay, 凭着我的意见, okay, you need to be able to. Able means boleh. Able to. And then after that, or you can say I believe, or I think, or I suppose. Okay, I believe is 我相信, saya percaya. But I think and suppose 是我觉得, saya rasa. You must have the ability to. So because you say, if you want to be teacher, you need to have what kind of ability? 你要有什么特点? Kamu perlu mempunyai ciri-ciri apa yang kamu boleh buat. 特点就是说你能做的 ability, okay? Or next one, you definitely need to, because, okay, so in order to become a teacher, you need to be what? You need to be what? Okay, these are some of the words. And the next one, when you talk with your friend, you cannot agree everything, right? Sometimes you will disagree. You can say either I agree or I disagree. I don't think so. If you don't want to say I disagree, you can say I don't think so. And then always when you talk with your friend, always got because. Always make sure when you are talking, when speaking task is very easy. Whatever is in your brain, you just speak it out. But it must be logical. Okay, I repeat, it must be logical. Like you two-person having conversation, you must be able to understand each other. Okay, that is the whole point of a speaking test. Okay, so I'm not going to go through these words here because we're going to go through at the points later. So let's look at here. Okay, where is it? Oh, here it is. So I'm just going to go through very fast and just going to highlight a few phrases, a few adjectives used to describe. Okay, these are all model answer, yeah? Okay, always remember whenever, actually there's not many speaking tasks in every unit. So the more you can do about speaking tasks, remember you have to, what do you aim in exam? The more words you know, the better it is. Because you're going to be tested speaking, listening, reading, writing. So how are you going to excel? The more words you know, the better it is. Okay? So let's talk about teacher. See? I used back the phrase. Sorry, I used to edit for... Okay. I used back the phrase to become a teacher. Let me just slightly enlarge the screen. Okay. Okay, nope. Okay, let me just slightly move it. Okay, it's not moving. Okay, now. See, I started with to become a teacher. Now I use you. You have to be passionate. Yeah. Next, please write down the meanings. I want you to see meanings either in English, in Mandarin, or in BM. Clear or not? What is the meaning of passionate? Passionate 就是kamu mempunyai kegairahan untuk membuat sesuatu，就是说你很有热情，mempunyai kegairahan. In a good way, kegairahan. I hope I'm translating correctly. About what you do and show an active interest in your work. Means you need to be interested. Show interest. Okay? 给人家看到你是很有兴趣在这份工作， tunjuk kepada orang lain yang kamu mempunyai minat dalam kerja kamu. Okay? You also need to be organized and hardworking. Okay? To be a teacher, you need to be very organized. 就是说 teratur. 就是你的做工的方式一定要很条条有理 something like that. Okay? And hardworking because it takes a lot of why do you need to be hardworking? Because it takes a lot of hard work to prepare for your lessons. Okay, 你准备课程的需要很多时间 okay? Dalam menyediakan lesson kamu perlu bersedia. Do you know there is no teacher who goes into a class, okay, without preparing her material. Nobody can do that. Okay, some teachers are very smart lah. But most of the teachers, they need to prepare mentally, and some even need to prepare materials that usually you see BM teachers and English teachers, they need to prepare materials. So that's why there's a lot of work. It's not just about understanding what you need to teach, but also preparing worksheets, notes and whatnot. Okay? See, I just use the word you. But when I'm talking about my opinion, I use I. And I use the word like I believe, or just now I say I think, or I suppose. Okay, so furthermore, okay, use the FIFA plus BM. I've never taught you guys. So one of the things that is very important in your writing especially, which I also think you can practice in your speaking test, is that you need to use connectors. So I always ask my students to memorize this one. If you don't know, you cannot remember these connectors, use this one, FIFA plus BM. What is the meaning of first FIFA plus BM? Because sometimes you have point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, point number 4. Correct or not? You want to show it to the examiner or to the people who are marking you or assessing you, that you have point very clearly, that you have point number 1, you have point number 2, you have point number 3, and you have point number 4. Therefore, you need to use these connectors, and these connectors will definitely help to add marks in your exam. Okay, so let's start with the F, the first one. You can write this down. F is what? When you go to exam, you just memorize FIFA plus BM. But make sure you know what is FIFA plus BM lah, huh? What is F? The first one? First and foremost. Okay, and let me just enlarge it so you can see clearly. Oh, I cannot. Okay, second one. The second F after I. I is what? I is in addition. What is the second F? Just now the one we see, furthermore. What is A? A is apart from that. What is B? B is besides. What is M? M is moreover. Okay, if you want to say in your last point, you will 做个结论, buat kesimpulan in a nutshell. Okay, or in short. Or by and large. These are some of the most not very normal one, or the most easier one, which I do not recommend, especially to you who are in 4A. Seldom you want to use in conclusion, because in conclusion is so standard 1, standard 2. Okay, you guys must be memorizing something like this. Okay, definitely the FIFA and BM keep on using. Usually we don't need more than that lah, huh? Because your writing and your speaking you don't have so much points to write, not like the old SPM format. Okay, let's continue. So this one I use furthermore. After I talk about the first one, must be organized and hardworking. If I want to go to the next point, I need to use furthermore and then enter. I believe that. Okay, just now I say, for you to go into your point, you need to use I believe that, I think that, I suppose that, in my opinion. These are all the very common one that you can use. Furthermore, I believe that you must have the ability, okay, kebolehan, 那个能力 to come up. What is the meaning of come up? 想出来的 idea. Memikirkan idea. Come up with what? interesting activities. You don't want your lesson to be very dull and boring. You want it to be interesting. That can what? Why was a teacher come up with a very, I tell you, to come up with an interesting activity is very, very difficult. It's not as easy as you guys think. That can keep, why teachers need to come up with interesting activities so that we can keep membolehkan, keep your students. Don't suddenly say you, then today hear our. Be very careful. If from the beginning use you, must hear also your. Okay, don't suddenly tukar kepada woman. Okay, keep your students interested. Okay， 让他们继续的保持那个很有兴趣，supaya mereka terus mereka masih minat, mereka masih dapat tidak rasa boring begitu. You also need to keep in mind. What does it mean to keep in mind? Keep in mind, I think we have learned it in chapter 1. I don't know. This year I didn't. Okay, keep in mind means, let me explain. What is the meaning of keep in mind? I don't really know how to explain, though I know the meaning. Let's check. Keep in mind means you have to remember something like that. Remain aware of something. Okay. Still, it's very difficult to explain. Let me just look for the direct translation. Keep in mind, 记住. See, I say like remember. Like the meaning is like remember. 你要记得kamu perlu ingat itu maksud dia. Okay? 你要记住, kamu perlu ingat. Ingat. That's the meaning of keep in mind. Okay? Bukan saya suruh kamu ingat 不是那个意思，不是我叫你记得那个意思，这个是你要记得你要这样子做。Maksudnya ialah kamu ingat kamu perlu buat itu, ingat yang itu. 那个的记得。Okay, keep in mind that you are a role model. What does it mean a role model? Panjang. Okay? What is role model in BM already? Role model in BM ialah teladan. For who? For young people, which are the students who are still developing. Okay, 他们还在成长着 developing, tengah membesar as individuals, sebagai diri sendiri. Okay, 他们自己. Individuals means sendiri, 自己. Remember when you're talking about you is singular, but when you talk about general thing, talking about your students, you cannot be a singular student. It must be students. Remember, whatever that is general, 99%, for example, I say teachers, I say students, I say people of the public. It must be in plural form. Cannot be singular. Usually, we don't use singular except 它是一个特别的例子. Kalau dia ialah contoh yang terperinci, then we use singular. But if generally secara 大致上 we have to use plural. Teachers, students, policemen, doctors, nurses. Understand or not? General. So in your speaking, you need to use a general tone. That's why I'm using individuals. Means a lot of students. See, I use young people. Not only one, but a lot. Okay, still developing as individual, which means you have to show them. 你要tunjukkan kepada mereka. Okay, 让他们知道 how to deal with difficult situations. 怎么样面对很困难的 situation and give them good advice. Okay, 给他们好的 nasihat, beri mereka nasihat yang bagus. For this reason, okay, or if you don't want to use because, you can use for this reason. The same meaning with because. You definitely need to be good. You need to have what? If you need to talk to your friend, you need to have what? To your students, you need to have good communication skills. What is the meaning of communication skills? Skill itu teknik komunikasi, 就是沟通方式 and must be encouraging. 什么叫 encouraging? 就是说很容易的让人家鼓励人 maksudnya menggalakkan orang and be very patient. Okay? That is the meaning of communication skills and encouraging and patience. Whereas for paramedic, okay, like just now you see, the second picture is a paramedic, okay? People who want to become paramedics, because I don't want to use you, I can, okay, if I don't want to use you anymore, I can say 其他人，如果那个人atau orang-orang itu 那些人 if they want to become paramedics, you see behind automatically add S ya class. People who want to become paramedics must like helping other people. I don't know why. Yeah, okay, because this profession involves providing people with medical care and first aid. Remember, I told you, it is not the doctors who are at the whatever scene or whatever accident site. It's always the paramedics, the people who are in the ambulance. So they will be the first people to provide medical care, and we say first aid. First aid is bantuan kecemasan 紧急的. What is first aid in Mandarin? Hold on. What is first aid in Mandarin? Pertolongan cemas is correct in BM already, whereas first aid in Mandarin is 急救. Okay, correct? 急救. Okay, so paramedics, we also can call them 急救员. In BM, if I'm not mistaken, paramedic is paramedic itself. Okay, because a lot of things in BM is actually borrowed from English, right? Okay, so let's continue. Where was I? I lost my screen class. Okay, here. So, what are the qualities that a paramedic or paramedics should have? Okay, if in the beginning you use people already, make sure you remain plural. Like if you talk about teacher, because in exam you're not going to talk about all 4 professions. Okay, just in case you don't know, because you're still in Form 4, the format has slightly changed for your speaking because you guys didn't take PT3, right? So I'm not sure whether you are very sure of the latest format. You don't need to speak about all professions on the picture. You just select about 1 or 2 will be enough. As long as you fulfill your, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot class, 3 minutes per person alternately. I forgot already because a long time already I have not done speaking assessment since last year. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is you don't need to talk about everything. What I'm trying to say, I did. 跑得很远，结果lari dengan cepat. Okay, what I'm trying to say, if in the beginning use people already, it's already in plural form. Make sure in your subsequent sentences, it must always be, those sentences must be in plural form. You don't suddenly say you, and then suddenly you say people, and then you suddenly say you. It must be people, they, When you use people and they already, you are using a third person pronoun. Whereas when you say you, you're using a second person pronoun. Be very careful with that. Okay, class. But actually, to be honest, class, anyone who is speaking, if they are in a very comfortable mode, they tend to switch here and there. Suddenly, they can become you, and then suddenly, I mean some generally when you're talking about a very general topic. Okay, I'm talking too much already, class. Okay, let's continue. So, they must have the ability to perform well under pressure. What is the meaning of under pressure? Okay, this is one of the phrases in your textbook. Under pressure, pressure 是压力, tekanan. Di bawah tekanan mesti perform well. Boleh bekerja dengan baik. 他一定可以做工，就是说，因为这份工作有压力，kerja ini ada banyak tekanan, jadi it must be able to perform well under pressure. Because why? Because paramedics, they deal with emergency situations, and it's very stressful. If you're someone who cannot cope with stress, you cannot cope with something that's shocking, it's better that you do not take up. So make sure you know what are your strengths. If you want to talk about, if the question is about advising your friend, a friend of yours on it can be also writing task, on the work, on a profession that he or she could take up. So make sure you can also talk about the strengths or the weaknesses. For example, what are her qualities, her strengths, kekuatan, 她的好处, or her weaknesses, something that she's not very good in, kelemahan dia. You take these 2 criteria into consideration in deciding a profession or a career. Okay, to deal with emergency to deal with emergencies effectively, okay, paramedics, they must what? They must always stay calm. 要很冷静, mesti tenang and work well in a team. Meaning they need to be able to work with a team. They cannot be one-man show. What is the meaning of one-man show? I want to be hero. I cannot work with you. You need to listen to me. No. It's all about cooperating in a team. It's all about talking about cooperation and being able to work with other people. This is also one of the skills that we need as we grow older and as we enter into adult life. Okay, we talked too much in the first. I talked too much in the first two already. So the next one, an athlete. Okay, if you want to become an athlete, you definitely need to be passionate. Again, the same word, passionate. Hardworking again, discipline. Okay, you must be wondering, teacher, why the discipline here has a D? Remember, whatever after B, okay, it must be in the. It's not. I give you a general rule. It must be in ED or D form. It's not because it's past tense, it's because it is in a form of adjective. Like I told you in a previous, I don't know which previous lesson, some adjectives as you go as you learn further in I don't know what's the word, as you learn more in English, you will realize that adjectives are not the normal beautiful, handsome. These are all very common adjectives. There are a lot more adjectives that have ing or ed. So how do you know that? Read more books, listen to more, and be very attentive. That's the only way. Okay, class? Okay, so we're talking about athlete already, yeah? This is because as an athlete, what is one of the things that you usually do a lot, which is to train a lot. This is because training to complete on a professional level takes a lot of time and effort. Meaning, because you keep on training, a person who wants to be an athlete has to train himself or herself continuously, and it takes up a lot of what? It takes up a lot of time. It takes up a lot of effort. If you want to be on a professional level, not just school. Of course, when you are able to achieve something at a school level, is already very good enough. Okay, don't let people say you're a school only, so what's so cool, what's so great about it? No, but if you are thinking of being a professional athlete, make sure that you are able to commit to a longer hours of training. And a lot of effort. You need to push yourself continuously for you to go to the next level, and for you, if you really want to be an athlete. For example, if you're really, 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 really good in basketball, then you shouldn't be just playing like for fun. You need to really up yourself, push yourself. If your school does not provide a when I'm saying all these classes, is also actually elaboration of the speaking task. Yeah, when your school does not provide when your school does not provide a professional training, you can always hire a professional trainer or coach, or go for professional trainings outside of your school. Okay, continue. And all of that, what else? You need to be dedicated. What is the meaning of dedicated? Dedicated maksudnya ni okay, I don't really know how to explain it in dedicated in BM is dedikasi, whereas Mandarin tolu, I think there's a better meaning to it. In dedicated in BM is berdedikasi, 不是专用, I would say 尽心尽力的. Okay, 尽心尽力的, that's the meaning in Mandarin. Okay, continue. Okay, here. So I suppose, again, I use the word suppose. If you don't want to use in my opinion, you don't want to use I think or use I believe, you can use I suppose. I suppose and I think is almost the same meaning, which 我觉得, saya rasa. I suppose that you must also have the ability. Okay, athlete also need to be able to perform well under pressure, because it's all about achieving, the time record and pushing yourself to be more excellent. So it must be, to be an athlete, you must be able to perform well under pressure. Because when competing, okay, tang pisai dia so kamu tengah dalam beside competition, things can get very stressful. Like for example, running, right? Sometimes you see your opponent is 被他 lawan, 你的对手 suddenly run past you. Then it was like, oh no, she ran past me or he runs past me, so I need to like catch up with that person. Okay, and if you cannot deal with your stress, if you're not able to handle your stress, then I don't think you are very suitable to be athlete. But every work, every kind of profession, every kind of occupation has stress. That is the reality of the world. Yeah, it can but you have to learn to cope with your stress and find ways to help yourself. It can negatively affect your performance. 影响到你的成绩。很负面的 negatively 负面的影响到你的成绩。Secara negatif akan mempengaruhi performance kamu punya itu pencapaian. And the last one, a receptionist. The first time, I've never heard of anyone who wants to be a receptionist except of someone who wants to be a secretary. That is more, but I don't know. Okay, so just let's listen to this. In my opinion, to become a receptionist, you have to be very friendly, and patient, because some people, they don't know. So the first hotline that they call is always who will be answering that phone call for people who don't know what to do if they want to approach this certain company or whatever organization. It's always a receptionist. So in my opinion, to become a receptionist, you need to be friendly and patient, and you must like helping people. The fact that you are the first person people see. You see, I told you just now, a receptionist is someone that when you enter a building, a big company, the first person, in that, what do you call, counter pertanyaan, that, I don't know what desk is it already. Those are usually, not only one, usually those people are receptionists. Okay, the fact that you are the first person people see and the one that they come to when there is a problem or information required means you must have very good communication skills. I suppose that you also have to be very organized, because why? Receptionist, you don't just answer phone. You have many responsibilities, and you have to plan your work well. Okay. So, it's almost 40 minutes already of this lesson. I have a bit. Okay, so the next task I want you to do is actually very easy. I said the grammar one, right? So, just on your textbook, hold on. Hold on class, I explain to you. When do we use past continuous? When do we use past simple? What is the meaning of using past continuous? Using past continuous means after was or were. Okay, was is for one person, one thing, or one matter, whereas were is for two person and above, two matters and above, or two things and above. And then after this, the verb you have to add ing, because continuous, right? Whereas past simple with meaning the verb, usually there's no was or were in front, depending on the other grammar rules as well. And then the verb, usually you add ed or d. This should be very easy, okay, right? So I don't want to talk a lot about this. Let me see. Okay, so it says past continuous is for action that were happening at a specific time in the past. 意思说，你在描述一个在那已经发生的，在那一个时候正在发生的。Kamu tengah menceritakan sesuatu yang sudah berlaku, tapi pada masa itu sedang berlaku. 总而言之，有正在 past sedang past sudah automatically have to add ing. 你描述的时候 you translate it in your brain, okay? Whereas past, and then there's another thing is that, okay, when two action happening at the same time, 两个 action 同个时候发生，dua action berlaku pada masa yang sama. For example, when I was watching the television, my mom was cooking. At that time, 两个 action 在发生同一个时候，dua action berlaku pada masa yang sama. Okay? The next one, past simple, is when you can see the word like when, while, as soon as. All of this has the meaning of apabila, tang. Okay? So, when do we use past simple? When it's not 正在的意思, apabila dia bukan bermaksud sedang. Okay? And then there's another rule. If for example, I was watching television when the bell rang. 意思说 in that sentence, there are two actions. The first action is watching television. The second action is the bell rang. So why the bell rang is in ED, or not ED lah, means present simple. Whereas this past simple. Whereas this one is past continuous 跟 ing. 因为你正在做一个东西的时候，另外一个动作打扰你。那个被打扰的动作，你要用 past simple， 就是加 ed 或者是 d 或者是 irregular verb。然后那个你正在做的是要加 ing。I explain in BM. Kalau ada dua action dalam satu ayat itu, okay, kalau macam kamu tiba-tiba buat sesuatu, kamu tengah buat sesuatu, tengah buat sesuatu, yang action tengah itu perlu tambah ing. Tetapi yang kamu tengah buat dikacau oleh action lain. Okay, dikacau oleh action lain, action yang mengacau action kamu itu, action itu perlu tambah ed atau d ataupun irregular verb. Maksudnya dia guna past simple punya teori. Okay, so actually this is very easy. I don't know why they want to repeat every year just for you guys to know. So your homework today, other than copying that one, is just do this in your exercise textbook. Do this part. Just use pencil to do this part. And then I'll discuss the answer in the next lesson. Okay, class? I know I talk a lot, but I just want to give more speaking tasks. We need to listen more and we need to read more. Yeah, class? Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much.